What's up, world? It's your girl, Candy J, planner, Black Girl Magic, your resident planner girl. So this video today, I'm really excited because it comes from a request of a viewer. Yay! I'm gonna link her comment probably about right here of what she asked. And because of her question, I'm going to make a video about it. So the question that she asked were sections in my planner were and how I used them. And when I thought of it, I was like, that's a great idea because I don't think since I've started my channel that I have actually broken down how I use my planner. So today I'm going to show you the sections in my planner, how I use them, and then my planning routine from monthly, weekly to daily. As a disclaimer, I think this may be a little bit long, y'all, but if you rock with me, it'll help you, I promise you. So let's get started with the sections that I keep in my planner. And one thing that I will say that, as you can see, no matter what planner I am using, the system and sections of my planner rarely change. So that I like to keep consistent. I wanted to put that up front because that is helpful when you want to keep and maintain a planning routine. I also have a video mentioning that is actually showing you how I create and maintain planner systems. So you can check that video out here. I'll put one here. But back on track to the sections in my planner. The first section that I have in my planner, or somewhere near the beginning of my planner, is a future log. Most future logs usually have some type of calendar that lists the dates of the month and then give you space underneath to be able to write down appointments, tasks, information, things that are not in the near future that you will need to keep and write down so that you don't forget them. One of the ways that I use a future log, and I have changed my style over the years, but the way that I do my future log is an adaptation of the Alistair method. I'm going to leave a link in my description that explains fully what the Alistair system is. My future log, I list the first letter of the month across the page, and then I give myself a column on the next side that I list the date of the actual event and then put a dot in the corresponding month that event will happen. It's a little cleaner for me. It is easier for my brain to process. So that is how I do my future log. One of the next sections that are really important in my planner is my index. If you have never heard of an index, there is a system within the bullet journal system, which was originally created by Ryder Carroll. I'm going to link in my description also his book that is called The Bullet Journal Method. It explains the whole bullet journal process and its originality. There have been, over the years, people have changed it to make it work for them, but I encourage you to check out the original system so that you can get a better understanding of how it works. But the index I use in the bullet journal system specifically because I can, whether I'm making a note on a certain day, page, or a weekly page, if it is something that I know I will need to reference back to later on in the future, I can flip to my index and I notate the page that note was on and what that actual note was. So later on, if I have to reference that again, instead of having to flip through all of the pages in my planner, I can just flip to my index, look for what the name of what I am looking for, and flip directly to that page. I love the index system. I'm going to show you a couple of the ones that I have used in the past. They have been so helpful for me. Next up in my sections is an inbox. And for me, all my inboxes is if I have something that comes up or somebody says something to me or a task or something that I need to get done later on that I'm not particularly sure when and where it should go. Sometimes in my index, I'll use sticky notes or I'll have a list or dot grid page behind that so that I am able to just quickly jot those things down. And then when I do my review process, either at the evening or of that day or at the end of the week, I can go through my I can go through my inbox and then I can take the time to put those items where they belong within my planner. The next section in my planner system is my calendar section. I like to keep my monthly calendars, my weeklies, and my daily spreads all within the same section. So you will see that I have the month that is current month, and then I will have the section directly behind that for the weeks of that month. And then in between, you'll see dailies as I need them. I don't always use a daily page, but it is helpful to be able to see it in line with the month that it is currently in. Usually I keep about 3 months within my planner, depending on what size planner I'm using. And that way I can keep up all month to be able to see where I am and what I've done and what I have not. The section that I also keep in whatever planner I am using is a section that is brand related. Brand related for me includes all of my social media platforms. For me, it's Instagram, YouTube. I'm also on Medium and Reddit. So I like to keep those things together in one place. I keep the information about each platform, which would be how you get there, all that kind of information. I also keep trackers related to the brand in that section. I track all of my social media platform growth. I track whatever milestones or major things that happen within that section so that it is all in the same place. And one of the last sections that I usually keep in all of my planners, and this is something that I've recently brought back because I was doing this digitally for a while, is a tracker section. So the things that I keep in my tracker section will be bills. So keeping track of when we pay things so that I can keep up with what's next so that it's not a surprise. So that has been helpful for me. I also keep a paper version of my period tracker. I actually keep track fully of my period in my phone. I use the health app. I have an iPhone. So that has been easier for me to keep track of. But I have found that it is helpful for me to have somewhere where it is written down so that I can archive those things and keep track to make sure that I am as I should be. Next, we're going to go into how I use my planner. And that part, what we're going to focus on is my monthly review, my weekly migration, and my daily migration and review. So the beginning of my planning system process usually starts towards the end of the current month. So when I'm getting ready to prepare for the next month, usually the end of that month that we are in, I will start planning for my next month. So my monthly review, what I do is I look over my monthly calendar and I set up how that will look for the next month. My monthly calendar is primarily used as an overall look and view of high-level items that will be coming up. So that includes meetings, it includes appointments, it includes content, it includes home, family life. Everything that is going on within my world will show up on my monthly calendar as the high-level things. So I will review what I have already have coming up and what I know is going to happen within that upcoming month. And that is what you will see on my monthly page. Now, when we get into the weeks of that month, my review process for that week. So I'm sitting down, I'm getting ready to plan my week that is upcoming. The first thing that I do is I review my monthly calendar. And if there are any task appointments that I noted on my monthly calendar that correspond to the week that I am planning for, those are the first items that I add to my weekly spread, whichever planner I am using. The next thing that I do is I review my week previously. So if there are any tasks that from that last week I did not finish or are undone, I then migrate those things to my current week. Now, one thing about the migration of a task from week to week is a note for me is if I am migrating a task week to week more than 3 times, I reevaluate that task because there is a reason that I have not completed those tasks, whether it be procrastination, maybe it to be that it's really not as important as I thought. I make sure that I monitor that because I don't like to keep just moving tasks from week to week and then they end up not being done. That is a pause for me to say, okay, girl, do you really need to do this? Now we move on to daily. My daily review process is much like the weekly. What I will do is review the day before. If I have any tasks that I did not complete, I will move those things to the current day. The next thing I will do will also review my week on my monthly spread, just to make sure that I have not missed anything for the day that I'm currently on. If there is something in my weekly that is listed for that day, that is the next thing that I will list on my daily spread. I also want to note that this, as you go through the week, as you go through your days, you can update as needed. So as things come in or something comes up during the week and during my motion, I just update it. There is no block for me when it comes to updating things. It's important to things as they come to you. It's one of the easier ways to keep up with things and to be able to hold yourself accountable.